Welcome to Unit 12, which looks at the last of the phrases which we should never use in legal writing. In this case, and or. What's the problem? It's the use of the ambiguous term and or in legal writing. Why is this a problem? And or is entirely ambiguous. It's not clear if the term means and or both. It's not automatically clear if the term is injunctive or disjunctive. In short, if we see the term, we've got no idea what it means. When I say we, I mean the common courts who have frequently complained about the use of and or. We have to try to understand what the author intended based on their intention when writing, never mind what the affected parties might think of it. The lack of clarity causes clients to be confused, and as a result, litigation frequently follows. This means it's the courts that are left to work out what and or means. The courts have ruled that and or means and, or both. The courts have also ruled that and means or in some cases, and that or actually means and. What's the solution? Legal writing calls for clarity. As alternatives to and or, choose one of the three unambiguous options. And if your aim is to be injunctive, or to be disjunctive, or X or Y or both to be both injunctive and disjunctive. The common law court's approach to and or is a problem when, in other languages, these terms do have specific meanings based on logic. For example, in Polish, you have the terms such as I, which means X and Y, which is injunctive. Albo means X or Y, which is disjunctive, and then you have lub, which means X or Y or both, injunctive and disjunctive. The question then is, how do we translate lub? Naturally, a lot of people automatically think that this must be and or, but the problem with this is that in English, and or, as I've just said, is ambiguous. It doesn't have the same logical meaning as it has in Polish. When you meet and or when reading, sometimes it's simple to work out which meaning is actually intended. Sometimes it's not. Take a few seconds to review the example sentences and try to work out which of the three meanings of and or were actually intended. And, or X or Y or both. My estate is to be divided equally between my son and or daughter. It's pretty clear here that the writer intended that and should be used. The use of or would create division between the son and daughter and ultimately end up in litigation. This becomes, my estate is to be divided equally between my son and daughter. Party A and or Party B may use the premises from Monday to Friday, 9 AM to 5 PM. If we assume that the situation is that the landlord is leasing out a warehouse to a rock band who are Party A and a poetry group who are Party B, the landlord might not care if the two tenants use the property together or not, which would be Party A or Party B or both. Nor would the rock band, which could understand and or as Party A and Party B. The poetry group, however, would understand and or as meaning or, and not and, as they need peace and quiet to enjoy their poetry. There's a clear difference of understanding here, and as such, we would definitely need a clearer definition of and or, which could encompass any of the three meanings. You must provide the necessary equipment and or expertise necessary to complete the task. The essence of this sentence might be understood as giving you the choice. As such, you might think it's enough to provide expertise or knowledge, and you don't want to use your equipment, or maybe you don't even have your own equipment, which would possibly involve hiring another subcontractor who does have the equipment. The author, however, might have in mind hiring as someone who has both, in this case, and. There's a clear scope for disagreement here. Are you able to work fixed day shifts and or variable shifts? Here, you, the potential employee, are given the choice of working in one of two ways, and as such you choose fixed day shifts. Later on, the employer asks you to work variable shifts, and you can't due to childcare or health issues. The employer then fires you. As a result, you then have a claim for unfair dismissal. Using or would avoid any possible litigation. Here are 4 examples which demonstrate how, if interpreted differently, and/or and its inherent ambiguity may lead you to court. Let's quickly recap. Please don't use and/or in your writing. Please use either and to be injunctive, or to be disjunctive, or X or Y or both to cover all eventualities. Okay, now we know what the problem is, why it is a problem, and how to fix the problem, we can now test the rule by doing the questions below. However, if you are unsure about any of the points which I've made, please go back and watch the video again. Feel free to pause the video to review all the examples at your own speed. After you do a question below, you can click to see a suggested answer. Just before you get started, please note the following. Please read the question and the hint carefully to make sure you complete the questions properly. Don't just get stuck into the questions, read what you have to do first. In the suggested answer, there may also be further comments to a question, so please read these carefully as well. The suggested answers are just that, suggested. There may be other also correct ways to answer each question. I've tried to put in as many variants as I can, but for obvious reasons I can't write every single correct answer, so as long as your answer follows the main points highlighted in the suggested answer, your answer should be okay. The questions are designed to practice the rule in this unit, so although you can make further corrections to the rest of the text based on the other rules in this course, the answer only concentrates on the rule presented in this unit. And finally, please don't get lost in the legalities of the question text. It's there only to provide material to practice the rule, not to be a law lesson. All that being said, off you go.